Welcome to Niche Podcast, your weekly 5-minute rundown of the biotech, clinical research, and applied science industries. I'm your host, Dr. Noah Goodson. This week, Roche earns FDA approval for combined flu-COVID diagnostic. I-Mab signs with Abbvie for $2 billion. PPD partners to treat lupus. And BioNTech/Pfizer add more COVID candidates while Moderna adds bad press. Roche received Emergency Use Authorization, EAU, from the FDA for a novel COVID-19/flu combined diagnostic test. Based on the Cobas 6800 or 8800 diagnostic systems, which use real-time PCR to provide sample diagnosis, this new test is capable of distinguishing between COVID-19, influenza A, and influenza B. With the flu season just around the bend, combined diagnostics could be a valuable tool for caregivers and public health officials to distinguish between the viruses. The advantage of this system is that it combines multiple tests from a single biological sample for cases where a differential diagnosis may be needed. The EAU from the FDA on September 4th followed close on the heels of the September 1st announcement that Roche would be pushing their rapid diagnostic antibody test out by the end of September. While this test has yet to garner an FDA EAU, it will be available throughout Europe and other parts of the globe. Preliminary studies indicate the rapid test has a sensitivity of 96.52% and a specificity of 99.68%. With a turnaround time of 15 minutes and limited lab equipment necessary, it could prove critical to screening stations, particularly in rural or poor regions. Rapid tests like this tend to suffer from increased false negatives, about 1 in 20 in this case. However, with Roche attempting to coat the diagnostic landscape with a suite of solutions, they're likely more concerned with capturing as much of the market as possible rather than a catch-all single solution test. Our report on July 27th highlighted the critical role that diagnostics have played in Roche's portfolio throughout COVID. It's no surprise that they're pushing for more solutions in this profitable and necessary space. Abbvie and the China-based pharma company I-Mab announced a $2 billion deal last week. The partnership centers around Abbvie taking over the development and commercialization of lemzoparlimab, I-Mab's CD47 monoclonal antibody therapeutic that could theoretically target and treat a wide range of cancers. The top-line results from the therapy claim that it has very low toxicity and is well tolerated at a single dose. However, there is no publicly available data at this time. CD47 is a cell surface protein that is expressed in a range of cancers. The CD47 protein inhibits the immune system from successfully targeting and destroying the aberrant cells. Lemzoparlimab works by blocking these receptors and allowing the immune system to function properly to destroy cancer. The problem with most CD47 therapies is that they can cause severe and deadly anemia as red blood cells are inadvertently targeted by the immune system. The specific and non-public characteristics of lemzoparlimab prevent this from happening. The deal for lemzoparlimab gets I-Mab $180 million in immediate cash payment, with follow-ups based on the drug hitting specific milestones through clinical trials and approval. In March of this year, Gilead acquired 47 for $4.9 billion. Their leading product was also a CD47 monoclonal antibody. Abbvie is hoping to compete in the same therapeutic space, but with significantly less out-of-pocket on the front end. The Niche is brought to you today by the Scope Method LLC. The Scope Method helps companies develop clear vision and strategic processes. Whether you need fresh eyes on your data, independent risk assessment, or are pivoting into a new therapeutic space, the Scope Method will help you focus close to re-examine what you know and look ahead to where you want to go. Find out more at thescopemethod.com. PPD, the leading global clinical research organization, signed a deal with Lupus Therapeutics, LT, this week. LT is a clinical research network focused on lupus-related research projects and backed by the nonprofit Lupus Research Alliance. The deal appears to be a mutually beneficial partnership. LT has a well-developed network of doctors and, more critically, a peer-to-peer patient network they call PALS, which enables those suffering with lupus to connect. This partnership can be vital to the health and well-being of those suffering from chronic diseases. From a research perspective, improving patient interest and participation in clinical research can be a vital resource to developing new therapies. The deal is framed as a mutually beneficial network whereby LT gains PPD's broader resources and clinical management skills, along with clients who may want to run clinical trials, while PPD gets access to well-established sites, brand equity by being backed by a nonprofit, and a population who have developed a degree of trust with the Lupus Research Alliance. It's not clear if there are financials or specific limitations to the relationship. The BioNTech Pfizer partnership has announced they're pushing a new COVID-19 mRNA therapeutic into the clinical development pipeline. This brings their total to 5 candidates, with at least one in a phase 3, 30,000 person trial, and others in phase 2/3 trials. The BioNTech Pfizer partnership is still behind the frontrunner Moderna in their timeline. However, their approach appears to have a bit more scientific durability. If their first candidate doesn't work, they have a second. If that doesn't work, they have 3 more. Moderna has all their eggs in one lipid nanoparticle basket. Adding to the shaky situation for Moderna, reports continue to surface of executives selling off significant portions of their stock. NPR reported last week that Moderna execs have sold more than $90 million in stock since June 1. This may be legal, but the ethics are questionable and the optics are terrible. At business closing on Friday, the 171-year-old company Pfizer, with $51.75 billion in revenue last year, was down about 7% in stock prices on the year. The 9-year-old company Moderna, who has never delivered a product to market, was up 225% on the year. One of these companies may be undervalued. Thanks for joining me on the Niche Podcast, your weekly 5-minute summary of the top news in biotech, clinical trials, and applied science industries. You can find us on your favorite podcast app. Like, comment, subscribe, and most of all, share with your friends. If you like what you hear, please rate and review. It really helps us. Once again, I'm Dr. Noah Goodson, and I'll see you next week.